Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, and good morning again. Today is March 4th, 2025. Today is my childhood friend's birthday. She is, good morning, AKA, good morning, good morning, good morning, girl. How are you this morning? Uh, how are you this morning? Oh, wow. I spoke with my daughter yesterday and she is going to make sure. I think that is that thing this weekend about the college, is that this weekend? Because I know she was saying um Jordan don't have anything planned. She don't have anything planned. And I think my daughter had picked up some extra shifts through the agency that happened back in. I told her that. I told her that. I told her that. And I sent her the thing. And mm, so she said she just March, I think all this septum acceptance letters should be already out by March, by the end of March. So I'm hoping and praying that she received the letter and I told my daughter she's going to receive the letter either way, if she was accepted or not accepted. But I believe that she is accepted at every school that she applied for. Okay, because I spoke with my daughter about it yesterday, and she said, "Well, Mom, I think Jordan has senioritis now. It's getting closer and closer for her to graduate, and she's not. She left school early yesterday because she said there's nothing for her to do. There's nothing to do. Um, and she informed her that she wasn't going to school Wednesday. And she said, "Well, Jordan, you can't miss too many days, or you can't graduate." So Jordan be up on her grade speaks for itself. That's what I said too. That's what I said too. And Jordan be up on her. She be up on her grades, and because she learned at an early age, that was something that she can't hide. And the way the school system here is now, it's like the parents can check the status of the children's progress, um, because they don't, like on their Chrome tablet, they the parent can log in and see what's going on and get the grades before they get the grades. And my daughter be on top of all of that, be on top of all of that. And I just say, well, Lord, God bless her. She done went to school these 12 years and did what she needed to do. She deserve a little break right now. And I think spring break is in, yeah, what, 2 weeks? Yeah, spring break is in 2 weeks. And this March, it'll be April, and then it'll be May, then it'll be over for her to do it all over again. And she said, Ma, this was the most expensive year. Jordan is tired. Good morning, Sean. Yeah, she is tired. She is tired. And I'm tired for, you know, yeah, she's getting bored. One thing it is, she's getting bored. And Jordan never likes to be bored. because when she was a little girl and she said, Nana, I don't have anything to do. I'm bored. I say, read a book. Come on, get dressed. We go because we live right down the street from the um the library. And I say, put on some clothes. Let's go. You bored? So we'll walk to the library and I would have her to pick out 5 books. She would pick out 5 books. And we would sit down in the library and we would read and we'll come home and we'll read some more until she start learning to read by herself. So so she would never be bored, never be bored when there's a book, and you can always pick up a book and read a book so you don't be bored anymore. And that was our thing, like on Saturday mornings we would walk to the library, um either to take our books back and get more books, and then we would go to McDonald's and get I like the mocha frappe, and she would get her a vanilla frappe, and we would sit and we would talk. Just, me and her, we would just sit and we would talk, and then we would leave and, go back home and get in bed sometime, and we would read her books. I would have her to read to me. I said, well, read to me. And she would read to me, and words she couldn't pronounce. I'll read a page, then she'll read a page. And then sometimes she'll read to me. And then she said, Nana, I'm tired. Can you read to me? Can you finish reading for me? And I read, and we'll go to sleep. And, I think I believe, I know I'm going to miss all that. I think about it often. Change is good. If nothing changed, everything stays the same. And I was telling you guys about what I did by me just letting go of the past. Yesterday I told that I let go of the past. Sunday, and I reconcile my differences with Jordan's grandmother. And I feel totally free. And a change had to be made because I could not continue to be on here to talk about, I couldn't be on here telling y'all about forgiving somebody, loving somebody. I can't continue to be on here talking about God and the goodness of God when I am not practicing what I am talking about. And I had been holding that for like 17 years. I held that unforgiveness for 17 years. And good morning, Lady B. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much this morning for making your way here. And thank you for the people that's just listen, not watching, but just, you know, g- didn't come down. But, I don't like to say in the bushes, maybe you getting ready for work or doing whatever you're doing. Thank you for being here as well. And my daughter and I, we talked about it yesterday. She said, "Well, Ma, I did text her, and I told her that my mom told me that she spoke with you, and that she showed you some of Jordan graduation and cap and gown pictures. And she said, well, she's getting ready to graduate, and she got a lot of things going on." And she said, yes, she has grown so much and she is so beautiful. I could imagine how she was saying it. And she said, well, she was saying, oh, she has grown up so much and she is so beautiful. And if you just keep me um just keep me up to breast with what is going on and going on with her. And she said, yeah, we're waiting for a couple of more colleges. She has accepted letters. She didn't tell her where she got the letters from. And she said, Mommy, I started to tell her, yeah, Jordan finally got a chance to meet her grandfather. But I said, now don't open that can of worms yet, that because that's not your business. And it really, it's not your place, to do that. So she said, but mom, she said, I wanted to so bad to tell her that that Jordan had got accepted at Clark and Bethune Cookman and Hampton. And I was saying Hamilton yesterday. And she said about where Hamilton? I don't I said, you remember you told me that Hamilton and um um Howard are rivals. And I said, well, Hamilton is in Virginia and Howard is in DC. She said, Ma, it's Hamptons, the Hampton. I said, well, you know what I meant. You know, her and my granddaughter, they really get on my last little nerves sometimes. You know, like I say, I'm going to Target. I'm going to Target. You know, I used to say Targets. And she went, Ma, it's not Targets, it's Target. And I said, why do you always do that? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. And Jordan says, who is the one that always say, enunciate your words clearly, pronounce them clearly, enunciate? Who's the one that's always saying that? And you know, and I am the one that's always saying, pronounce your words. You know, if you can't sound them out and then pronounce your word. And I said, but you know what I be talking about. So I have to practice what I preach. And with my daughter and my granddaughter, I promise you, I cannot take no shortcuts. Them two do not give me no slack. They do not give me no slack. Don't give me no break because I have drilled and instilled in them. And sometimes it comes back to bite me in my behind. Yes, AKA. Yes, AKA. Because her mama say, sometimes you act just like my mama. You act just like my mama. And and then I said, well, it could be uh s- she could act like something else, but that's not all bad. However, so change is good. I truly hope that she can be a part of Jordan Tribe. You know what? Um, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to pray about it because I don't care if she is one way or the other. However, if she wants to be, she will be welcome, and she don't have to prove anything to me. There's absolutely nothing that she has to prove to me because I have taken myself out of the equation when it comes to her. I don't hope anything for her to be a part of this village that Jordan have. Is going to have to totally be her. She's going to totally have to want to. It's not something that I'm going to say, well, this, and I'm not going to I'm not going to constantly reach out to her and say, well, Jordan is doing this and Jordan is doing it. I'm not going to be the one to do that. If she wants to know anything about Jordan, she either is going to have to reach out to Jordan personally or she's going to have to do it through her mom. And if she want to reach out to me, she can. And even though I have forgiven this lady, and you never forget what a person has done. You never forget it, but you don't dwell on it and you don't hold it. When you say you giving it to God and you have surrendered it, that means you don't let it go. Not, you're never gonna forget the hurt. You're never going to forget the hurt, but you're not going to constantly dwell on it and keep bringing it up. You're just not going to do that. I thought that's just not what I'm going to do. I, ex- you know, I when I surrender everything to God, that means everything. My thoughts, my actions, my words, my attitude, all of that. I gave up all of that towards not only her, just people and things and situations in general, the things that had me bound. And I really didn't, I thought I was okay. I thought I was really okay with not liking that lady and continue to go on about my business, go to Sunday school, go to churches, singing and crying and clapping and hallelujah and amen and praising God and doing all that stuff. And I felt like that's not right. After I went to that workshop, I found out a lot of stuff that I thought was okay and I thought that was right. It really wasn't. Because when we go to prayer to God, we have to go to him in truth. We have to go to him in humility. We have to humble ourselves. We have to have we have to, there's a way, a proper way that we supposed to go to God. And so by me going to that workshop, it just opened my eyes to a lot of things that I had said, well, I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was behaving, long as I didn't, talk about this lady, long as I didn't go up and put hands on her, everything was okay, but it was not okay. And if nothing changes, it stays the same. And if I don't change, I'll be I'll be the same way. Every time I see this lady, my blood boil. Every time I see her, I want to do something. And every time I see her, she just makes me sick. And I want everybody around me to know that this lady makes me sick. And everybody look at, I know she makes you sick. So I didn't want to continue to do that to myself. And I did not continue to want to alienate the people that was around me, when it came to this lady. So change is good. Change is good. Change for the better. When you're changing for the better, it is always good. So this morning I was reading in my devotion, and it was talking about idle talk, gossip. It was talking about idle talk. And I had noticed myself some months back, even it started, I believe it started back in September, that I was getting uncomfortable um, being on YouTube, being on panel, just being on panels. I started looking back at how long I've been on panels or different people platform and talking, thinking I'm just giving my opinion about something, and which it was just my opinion. And then it's like we get a little glimpse, just a little glimpse, maybe 45 minutes at the most of people lives. And we talk about it. We sit down and we talk about it. Some people investigating people's lives and stuff like that, and certain little groups of people, calling each other and gossiping about what we saw. And it was just beginning to bother me. And I had been thinking about it for a long time. And God started allowing situations to happen on YouTube. And I would unsubscribe from this channel, unsubscribe from that channel, unsubscribe from this one, and this one, and never to go back and be on those panels again because it was getting so dark and so mean and so dirty. So I stopped. And as of late, and it's not because, Anthony is not on. So that I normally would visit Anthony's channel, and through the conversation with him, he would say, Auntie, I just want to do something different. I want something different. And in his life outside of YouTube, I mean, Anthony is a man wear many hats. He has jobs. And I was joking with him. I said, "You just like a Jamaican man. You got about 20 jobs. A Jamaican have a job, a job, then a job, a part-time job, and then a job on his break, lunch break, and a job on a 15-minute break, and just jobs, jobs, jobs. And he said, I don't know. I don't know if I want to just get on YouTube. I don't know what I want to do. And I said, well, you'll figure it out. And I tell him, if nothing change, nothing changes. Everything stays the same. It stays the same. And God had been dealing with me about talking about other people's business, even though, and giving my opinion about other people, and then get on the phone and start gossiping about those people business and stuff like that. God was dealing with me. And I said, well, how can I give my opinion without it being gossiping? Giving your opinion is not gossiping, because 9 times out of 10, when you're giving your opinion about something, the person can hear. And gossiping is, you just having a conversation, sometimes a negative conversation about someone that's not in your presence, that they can rebuke what you're saying, give you a rebuttal to what it is that they're saying. My pillow always sliding in this chair, and I'd be so uncomfortable. Ugh, I need to get another one. So I decided, because God, it just kept coming back to my remembrance. Anytime I got ready to open my mouth about something that really was none of my business, God just said, the Holy Spirit just said, mm-mm, mm-mm. Mm-mm. So I am trying my hardest to get away from gossip. And I used to say, well, I'm not the one to gossip, but I sure will sit down and listen to it. And that's a problem as well. Sitting and listening to the gossip. That's the problem as well. And I was just telling my daughter yesterday, because we were talking about how the president and all those people ganged up on the president from the Ukraine. And I said, and nobody had the nerves to stand up and say anything. And I said, when you are in a position and you know something is wrong and you don't speak up, I say, you guilty. You're just as guilty as that person who committed the crime, because you didn't say anything. Even though you took this person, it's just like a person going to rob a bank or going to rob somebody. I didn't rob the bank. I was in the car. I was driving the car. But you took part in that. So you're guilty as well, because you knew what was going to happen and you didn't stop it, or you didn't say, I didn't want to be a part of it. So you are as guilty as well. And so my daughter said, Mom, I just don't know what these people are thinking. And I told her, I said, you know what, V? I said, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I said, I'm cautious and I'm aware, because the Bible tells us to be watchful, while we're praying, to watch, being prayerful and watch. I said, I have never in my life prayed and asked God to harm anybody, to cause anybody any harm. I said, but I actually prayed and asked God to take this man's life, to allow something to happen to this man. And then I had to take that back, because who am I to ask God to take a life that I didn't give? Who am I to ask God to take that man's life and I didn't give him life? So I say, I say I had to ask God, and I believe I may not be here to see it. I said, but I believe God is going to grant me longevity so I can see the punishment that's going to come down on not only him, but the people that he has surrounding him as well. So I can't worry about it, because he's not in control. He is not in control. God is in control. Everything that's happening is not happening by accident. It's happening by the will of God. And I say, Do all of us deserve to go through it? No. All of us don't deserve to go through it, but we're going to have to go through it because of a group of people who decided that this is what they wanted. And this is what this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted, but this was the will of the people. They didn't say if this is God's will. They say if this is my will, I want Donald Trump, and whoop, there it is. There he is. There he is. I know I make jokes about folks. I need to stop. Now it was funny, but it was probably hurtful. And I be saying that, okay, like Sunday, right? It was some women come up in there at that thing, at that cocktail party Sunday. It was some women came up in there. I know when they left home, nobody didn't tell them that they shouldn't have wore that dress. And when you're a certain size, you need to shop at a store that have your size. You need to shop at a store that has your size. And so this lady had on this dress, and she was flat as a pancake back there. And I'm sipping on my drink. I'm sipping on my drink. And this lady passed by. And my friend said, now I couldn't wear that. She said, I couldn't wear nothing like that. I said, she can't either. So we started laughing. See, I didn't have no business saying that. I didn't have no business. See, I could blame it on I could say, it was the Don Julio. But it was not the Don Julio. It was me. It was me because really, really now, you know, when you left home, that dress was short. When you left home, that dress was not your body size. And when you left home, you looked like a busted can of biscuits, but your friends wasn't friendly enough to tell you that. And so we were just sitting there, and where we were sitting, we could see everybody just come in and stuff like that. And when people would come in, I would look at her and she would look at me, and sometimes we would bust out laughing. Or then her sister would look over there at us and come out, Marissa, what you saying? I said, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't say I ain't saying nothing. Cause my dress was sort of kind of short, but it fit. And when I see how short it was, I went and bought some stockings. I went and bought some stockings. So, having on the stockings that make it that bad. But when it's time for a change, you will know. You'll be the first one to know. When it's time, you'll know things will begin to just happen. Things will start going according to God's plan and to God's will. When it's time for you to change, you'll be the first person to start feeling, I need to change. I need to do something better. Because when you are the same, you start getting this. And when I was going to AA, and they would always say they would have a little poster, and it would say, if nothing changed, nothing changes, and things will always be the same. If nothing changes, you're going to always get the same results. So if you don't do something different, you're going to always get the same results by doing the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, in our day-to-day life, we have to do things. It could be the same but different. Let it be something different. And like in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, for I know the thoughts I have towards you, said the Lord, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end, and plans to give you hope and a future. Hope and a future. Hope, future mean not right now, but in the future. However, if you're stagnant and you're constantly doing the same thing and you're constantly getting the same result, then there's no future for you because you just stuck right there. And even though some of us are in age, like myself, and maybe some people, I don't know your age, but something so traumatic could have happened to you at the age of 12, 15, 21. And even though every year you get a little older, you still could be like mentally, you still could be stuck at what happened to you at 21. Although you are although you're 41 or 51 or 61 years old, you're still stuck back at 21 because of what somebody did or what somebody said I said about you, and it can change you, and it could change you in a good way, or it could change you in a, it can have affect you in a negative type of way. And sometimes we don't even know that we're stuck because we can be a certain age and think we are over something. Think we done got over something, we done got past something because we don't think about it. We didn't deal with it when it happened. So therefore we don't think about it, and so we're not worried about it. However, one thing can happen, one word could be spoken, one person can do something out of the ordinary, and it brings back memories. You are flooded with everything that happened to you when you were 15, when you were 21, and now you are in this closed in space. And I can't believe it's happening to me all over again. I can't believe, you know, daddy didn't love me, mama didn't love me because some man rejected you. Now you feel like what happened to you 15 or at the age of 15 or 21 when you didn't deal with it. You have to deal with things before you move on. I didn't deal with me not liking that lady. I really didn't deal with it. And I just carried that thing on and on and on. It seemed like um people who knew her, they would always say, well, she's not really like that. To me, she was like that. So it ain't nothing that you could tell me about her because I'm knowing her from what I know her. And so change, we must to in order to change, we have to be committed to changing. We must commit our hearts to the Lord 24/7, all day, every day. Because when we worship and obey God in our day to day walk with Him, He's waiting to communicate with us and even change or reverse our situations, circumstances, and the issues of life. You could pray and ask God for something, and you probably have prayed and asked God for something, and you haven't received it yet. Don't you know when you're praying, seeking, and asking God for things, there's something that you got to do too. There's something that we must do too. And there's things that I have been praying for and I've yet to receive them. And I stopped praying. I said, well, I ain't going to get it. So I ain't going to keep on praying about it. But now I understand why why what I wanted, why what I was praying for was I wasn't receiving it because when I was praying for it, I was praying for selfish reasons. I was praying for selfish reasons, and I was praying for it not with a clean heart, not with a pure heart, not with a clean heart, you know, because I wanted people to see, I wanted people to see. I want you to see what God doing for me. And I say, I can't use God like that. And God is not going to allow me to use him, like that. And and I just decided to stop fighting it. I'm fighting against things. When I stopped smoking dope, when I stopped shooting dope, and I started thinking about all the money that I was putting in, selling dope, but using the dope and at some point not making money. And I said, something got to change. And by going to jail, by going to prison, then working and seeing money, then being so afraid when I have money, was scared that I was gonna run to the dope man and give him all my money. And I said my mindset had to change. Stop trying to buy everything at one time so I don't go out and buy drugs. And then one time I had tested myself. I got paid and I just went and bought my daughter a couple of outfits, bought my son a couple of outfits, and, bought something for the house. And, I went in Macy's and I picked up a bottle of perfume for myself. And I had some dollars left over. I had some money left over. And I just, I was just praying, Lord, I don't want to go out this house. I don't want to buy no dope. And I wanted to hold on to money just to see that I could hold on to it without going out there wanting to spend money for a high that ain't gonna last me no longer than 3 seconds, and then I be out there chasing behind that first hit again all night long, chasing behind that first hit. And I said, Lord, if something don't change, a change has got to come. A change has got to come. However, I had to be committed to the process. And when you don't like what's going on in your life, don't blame it on somebody else, because we, and all he did was just made me so mad. You let that person get you that way. You let that person have that much power over you that you got angry and you did some things and you said some things. And when you put them words out there in in that atmosphere, then you start breaking stuff you done paid for, destroying and being destructive. And and I said, some gotta give here, something gotta give. And where you are committed to the process that you're gonna have to go through, that's necessary for you to change, because that's an all day, every day process. You got to be committed to it. And I know there's some areas in my life that I really need to change. And I saw myself working on them before I had before I went to the cocktail party Saturday. I saw myself Sunday. I saw myself just saying, what I thought was important, it's not important. It really is not important. And I allowed a lot of things to happen because I thought what I thought was important and the things that I was hanging on to. And then the gossiping, it made me feel good to hear things about people, especially when it was people who was had done said things about me, and it felt good to hear. It felt good. I'm gonna be honest. It felt good to know that somebody, the same people that was talking about me, they was having issues and they was having problems, and you know, they were going through all kind of things. And then I had to question myself. You somebody, you always talk about you your sister keep. Is that the way you keep your sister, even though you don't really care for their ways? Is that the way you behave when someone is going through something? Do you celebrate that? And I had to talk to myself, and Self be talking to me like that. I be saying, well, Self, they said something about me. They were talking about me. They were celebrating. When I didn't have a car to drive to church, and I had to catch rides to church, and you know, get the church person tell me they ain't going to church, and catch either get a lift, or my daughter, she'll drop me off on the way to them going to church. And then I just say, they talked about me. They put me down. They were saying this stuff about me. So why can't I celebrate them going through something? But then that's just not the way. That wasn't the way. And I was reading, and it said that there's a danger in idle talk. And it is. And my grandma used to say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And an idle mind, idle talk is dangerous because you spitting out venom towards a person. You're saying negative things um about a person. You know, they say the most dangerous part of your body is your tongue, because your tongue can start rumors of war. It can start war. It can sit one. It's like a match, one match that'll sit a whole. Look how California was burning. That's the way the mouth is. That's the way your tongue is. We could set stuff ablaze. We can say something that'll get somebody hurt, that'll get somebody unalive. We could save lives. We could save souls. And it tells you, can salt and fresh water mingle together? Fresh and salt water don't even mingle together. I look at like we're surrounded by the two bodies of water, the Atlantic Ocean on the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico. So at the tip of Florida, right there and you can see the water, you can see the change in the water, cause one of them is like an emerald green and the other one is blue. It's so blue, it's like a crystal. It's like turquoise. So, and I saw that, and I saw it like right at the tip of Florida. That's where the water is divided. That's where the water is divided. The Gulf of Mexico to the right, and the Atlantic Ocean, you know, to the left. And they don't mix. They don't overstep their boundary. They get along. The salt don't spill over to the fresh. So we're gonna have to learn how to change not our habits of gossiping, change our eating habits, change our mind thoughts, our mind, change our mindsets towards people, towards things. Because if a person don't like me, I have learned that's not my problem. That's not an issue that I must concern myself with because you don't like me. That's not my problem. Now, the problem starts when I don't like me and I don't like you. That's when the problem starts. That's when it's my business. It's not my business how you feel about me. It's not my business how nobody feel about me because that's your feelings. And I can't tell somebody, I can't change your feelings. I can't change your thought process. I can't change your mindset about me because I'm just me. And if there's any changing that has to be made with me, I don't pray to nobody who has an issue with me. I pray to God who can change, who can change me, not to make you feel better, not to make somebody else feel better, but change me for whatever purpose he need to change me for the better. And so he can get that glory for changing me, and I get that good for his good and for my glory, for his glory and my good. Because if you stay the same, you're gonna be the same. And then you've been on a job. I've been on this job almost 20 years, and you still in the same position. You have not elevated. You have not grown. You have not taken the time to even get the process started to want to be in a different position. You find, and there's nothing wrong with being fine right where you are. However, you want to grow? Don't you want to get better? Don't you want to scale back some of those things that's holding you down? Like what those air balloons, and you got the balloon, but you got these bags on the side of the balloon that help them study. And when and when they get ready to land, they start throwing those bags down. So either they could go higher if they throw some of that weight off the side of the balloons. They could go higher, but long as those weights are on that balloon, they're gonna only go as high as they're just gonna go a certain height. But the more the bags are dropped, and they just start going higher and just gliding. So sometimes we have to have a different mindset. We have to let go of what's holding us down. And we have to not be afraid of of letting go of things that no longer serves us any good. Um I know I read that. Amen. That's why they say people are only meant to be in your life for a season. Glad you shift your mindset and change. Had to, had to, because if I had kept hanging around the same people, I was getting the same result, getting high, getting broke, and looking stupid. And lights getting turned off. I said, nah, baby, this is not the life for me. And my children do not deserve this. Suddenly I was bullied in school, and now I felt myself being a bully mindset, guilty by association. Yes, ma'am. We have to continue to pray for our government, and we do, and we should. And that's so sad. And I used to worry about my granddaughter when she first started the school, because where my mom lived, there's not like the school that my granddaughter attend. It's a performing arts school, and it's like a chartered school. And once you in, you in. Once you are in, you are in. So um they only the only way you could get in this school, the high school that my daughter go to, you have to be living in that area. But if you want to join in, like when she was in the 8th grade, she had to audition to be part of the drama department because it's a performing arts school. So she had to audition. And academic wise, they were doing, maybe you know what this is, AKA, and if we have any educators out there, they have a standardized test, like it's the Cambridge check, the Cambridge, and there was another test that she had to take. So what she did was she auditioned and she took the test. So if I don't get in by the test, I get in through the audition. And if I don't get in through the audition, I get in through the test. So by her doing it that way, she auditioned. She sung this song by Barbara Streisand, "Don't Rain on My Parade." And that was the first time I ever heard her sing, and I was blown away. That was the first time I heard her sing. And she took then she went for an audition one night, and the next day she did the test. And I asked a couple of weeks later, I asked, so which way are you going? Are you going, did you pass it? She said, I have to decide now, Nana, because I passed the test and I got in through the audition. So I said, well, what are you gonna do? She said, I'm gonna be a part of the musical theater part. I said, okay. But then by her passing the test and in 8th grade being on the from 6th grade to the 8th grade being on the B honor roll. She had honor classes in 7th grade, taking 8th grade courses, ninth grade, 8th grade taking getting credit. So when she go to high school, she'll have some credit when she get to high school, because in 8th grade she was taking ninth grade courses. So when she got in ninth grade, state of Florida decided that she was eligible for the back what is it the class where they put all the young people, all the smart people. So she was part of that society. What is it? Magnum cum laude. Okay, that's when you're smart, I guess. So she's part of that. And she had to make a choice, and she had to, you know, and she had such an attitude of, my granddaughter has such an attitude sometimes, and she used to say, well, Nana, if I could do it, everybody else should be able to do it. And she refused. She was in the ninth grade, and she refused to work with a football player, and she was sent to the guidance office, and because she refused to work with the football player. And she said, if I got to do all the work and he just going to be part of the group, he shouldn't get any of the credit just because he's on the football team. You know, we're going to do, me and whoever else is going to do the work, but he's going to get credit. And I don't feel like he should get the credit. So if he's not going to do anything, then I'm not going to do anything. And then we gonna fail because of him. If he pulled his weight and with the rest of us pulling our weight, then we could pass this, we could do this project. But if he do not put in, and you just put him in our group because he's a football player, I'm not doing it. And you could call my mama. And they called my daughter. And my daughter just say, well, look, if that's her stance, that's her stance. And I can't change that, because if she's going to be up nights working on this project and he's not going to be doing anything, then I don't think it's fair to the rest of the group. So they put him in another group because she stood her ground. And I've always told my kids, that's your only job you got. When you go into school, that's your job. And if you have a problem, you don't go back and forth with the teacher, the principal, or the guidance counselor. You call me, or you call your mama, and we'll deal with that. You there to learn. They got it. They already got it. You don't. So you get what you could get. And then when you get what you get, you can help somebody else. But we have to change we have to be accepted, accept the change, work on the change, want to change, want to change. Oh yes, my daughter was academic based, 67 graduate, 67 graduated in her class. Good morning. Hey Carrie, good morning. Um, I don't know how many they have in their class because graduation starts in May, and like for a whole week, it'd be sometimes like two graduations in one day at the same facility. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. We live in a topsy-turvy world, and we just have to change and adapt. The price of eggs going up. So what you do? You buy two cartons of eggs. We got to change our spending habits. We got to change our eating habits. We have to change mentally, change spiritually. You know, change is good, because if we don't change, that means we're just holding on to the same thing all the time, and we're just gonna keep getting the same results. And then we got to change the way we speak about each other. We're gonna have to change the way we approach a situation. The Bible say, be quick to listen and slow to speak. Meaning, before you speak on something, listen at what's being said. And if you don't have an understanding of something, don't speak on something that you don't have absolutely no idea about. That's why I say I had to stop saying, I ain't the one to gossip, but I sure to listen. And I still say, well, I ain't the one to gossip, but I listen. I'm just as guilty as the person who's gossiping, because I'm listening to the gossip. I'm listening to the gossip. And then I might put my 3 cents in about it. I just might put my 3 cents in about it. But you know what? I honestly believe when you are God centered and God is getting working in your life, and you have said, okay, Lord, I surrender. Um, when you do all that talking to God and praying to God, and Lord, and whatever it is that you be saying, God be listening to that. And God said, okay, I'm gonna do it like this right here. She said she done with that man, and she ready to just surrender her whole self to me now. That she see what I finally she see finally what I have been trying to get her to see with this man, trying to hold on to something that is not hold on. You can't hold on to a person. You can't make a person love you. So I've been trying to get you to ease away from this man, and you just won't. So you say you done with it. You say you're done with it. You say you're done with it. Okay, I'm finna allow this to happen. He's gonna text you. What are you gonna do? He's gonna call you when you don't answer the text. Now when you hear his voice, it just does something to you. So are you ready to make that? Are you ready to make that to say, I'm done. I'm done. I am done. Or do you have a few more? There's a song that I love to hear my pastor sing. He says, I got a few more tears to shed, a few more wrongs to make right. And I always say I used to say before I just was totally committed, I would say I got a few more corners I got to be in. It's a few more corners I got to go around. It's just I got a few more things I got to do before I, just totally commit myself, to God like that. Surrender everything. And then I found by bending those corners, it's not as fun as I thought it would be. Um, you know, continually to do well, I got a few more wrongs I got to do before, I try to make those wrongs right. And I started finding out that I really didn't want to bend the corners no more. I didn't really want to do the things that I thought that I wanted to do, because God had to put in my spirit that, hey girl, you mine now. You don't belongs to you. So if my will gonna be done one way or the other. And I prefer that it be done willingly than me have to take you through so many trials and tribulations. But if you want to go through all that trial and tribulation, keep doing what you're doing, and I'm gonna keep giving you what I'm giving you. And I did it. I did what I wanted to do for a long time. I did what I even when I first, joined the church and trying to do right. Trying. And then I said, you know what? Either I'm gonna do it or I'm not. And what I'm not going to do is keep playing with God. That's one thing I am not going to keep on doing, playing with God. And I decided. And I don't care how long it take you to make that decision. Because I was with a man off and on for 30, my daughter 30, my granddaughter 30, my granddaughter 17. So 37. So I'm gonna say 35 years off and on. Been through other relationships, but I always went right back to that went right back. And even if I was in a relationship, I was still with this man. And I wasn't letting him go. He wasn't adding nothing to my life. He wasn't multiplying me in any type of way. He was subtracting and dividing my life until I just could not take it anymore. And I had to make a decision. I really had to make a decision that I did not want to make. And the decision I made, it was like either you want to go to heaven or you want to go to hell, but you can't be straddling the fence and you can't keep on playing it, in God's face. You can't keep on doing that. So either you're going to let this man go or you're going to keep on doing what you're doing, but that's going to have to be a choice that you're going to have to make. And I just saw how God had just started working. Mildred invited me to the prayer group, and I started liking the prayer group, and I started hearing things at the prayer group. And this young lady one Friday morning was saying some things, and it was just hitting me all in the face, and then it was touching my heart at the same time. And and I said, Lord, I gotta let it go, and I gotta let it go. But then self was saying, girl, but it's gonna hurt so bad to let it go. you know are you ready to hurt like that? Are you ready to You gonna really be lonely now? You really gonna be lonely now. Are you ready for that? And my thing has always been, and it's still gonna be, I ain't going to hell. Brown sugar melt, and I am not going to hell because it's just too hot. It's just too hot. And that's not, I don't like to be uncomfortable, to even think about it. That's a never ending fire. I don't want to go there. So if I don't want to go there, I have to change. I have to change my attitude. I got to change my conversation. I have to change. I have to surrender. I have to let go. I have to forgive. I have to ask for forgiveness. There was a change that had to take place before I get to heaven. So this is a journey. This is a dressing up room here. Um, there was a Sister Denson. I call her Sister D. She always used to sing this song, and I think this is a signature song. This is the dressing up room down here, down. You can't get to heaven. Well, you got to get to heaven from right down here. What you do down here determine where you go, if you're going there or there. And a pastor has said, what he said, 8 inches separates heaven from hell. 8 inches separates heaven from hell. That's not a lot. That's not a lot. So going through the day, just for the day, just going through the day, and whatever area in your heart that you need to change, whatever in your life that you need to change, is if it's the idle talk, whatever it is, don't shine the light on somebody else. Turn that light around to yourself and search yourself. In Second Corinthians, it said, "Let a man examine himself before he partakes in before he partakes in the breaking of the bread." Um, examine yourself, and while you are examining yourself, then you don't have time enough to take communion. Yeah, before you take communion. And it says a man has to examine himself. And before you take part in that, if you got alt with somebody and you need to get it right, or you're not in the right mindset, your heart ain't right and your mind ain't right, and to tell you, you're taking that indemnations to yourself, not to somebody else, but to yourself. So before I take communion, I have to get it right. I have to get it right. So I'll be in good standings. So, in order to be in good standings, examine yourself. Find that area. If you need to forgive somebody, and I don't know why I'm just keep harping on this forgiveness thing. If there's something that you holding on to, please let it go. I bet you'll start seeing your stress level go down. You start seeing your blood pressure level out. You'll see that you will be more receptive to receive, and you'll see, and then people will see the change, the transformation that is happening right before their eyes, simply because you chose to forgive, simply because you decided, if I don't change, nothing is going to change. And once I began to have the right mindset, then the change can begin. And when that change began, that's when it said, "Oh, taste and see how good the Lord is." And when you start tasting that change and seeing that change, you're going to want more of that. And you're going to continue on with the process. And you're going to be happy that you did. And you're going to be happy that you are changing for the better. So the word for the day is change. Change. You can do it. I'm gonna say what my granddaughter say. If I could do it, I know you could do it. I know good gosh darn well you can do it today. So yesterday, y'all, I had slept when I got off. I got back in bed and I didn't wake up until 2 o'clock. In time enough to watch. I'm trying to like this black soap opera. I'm really trying to like it. It's just the beginning. So I'm trying to like it. I'm trying to like it. And I say, Lord, sleep is still on me. I still want to get in my bed and go back to sleep. But my room, I'm such a structured person. My room, y'all, my room. And when I look around, I got shoes in a pile. And I got clothes and stuff everywhere. And I said, "Oh, this room, this room, this room." So I'm gonna get back in bed, y'all. I'm gonna get back in bed. I'm gonna set my clock for 11 o'clock. And I'm gonna get up at 11, Lord's willing. And I'm gonna do what I need to do because today is the 4th, tomorrow is the 5th. I gotta get my rent in before the 5th, by the 5th. I still haven't went and paid my rent yet. Got the money, just too lazy. Could go right here to Winn Dixie. Could go to Winn Dixie. I need to pick up water because I have one case of water. I don't like to be down to one case, but I need to go and get me some more water. And I need gas and things that I need to do. So I'm not going to procrastinate, but I'm going to get back in my bed and give myself 2 more hours. And then I'm gonna get up and do what I'm gonna do. I said what I said. Did you get? I know when you text me. I know we were 4 hours different. Girl, I was in bed all day yesterday. I got up, fried me a piece of fish, and I had some leftover rice and beans in the refrigerator. And I had some fish and rice and beans yesterday. I was tired. I was tired. And then I saw your text when I woke up about around 1 o'clock this morning. I saw it. And I waited till about 6 o'clock before I would text you back. But when you have when you have time in your busy schedule, just give me a call. Just give me a call. I'll be waiting for your call. So y'all just go on out there today and be the best, do the best, and you'll get the best results. Be encouraged by something I said today. Change And I don't know why I can't get off this forgiving stuff, this forgiving train. So we gotta help each other with that. We gotta be accountable to each other for that. Because I want to get away from it, but it just keep coming back about forgiving somebody and being forgiven, accepting forgiveness and forgiving. And I don't know why I keep talking about it, but it must be a reason for it. So I'm going to hold you accountable for if you holding something, let it go, and we won't have to talk about forgiveness anymore. But until you let it go, I don't know, God putting it in me, so I gotta say, thus says the Lord. Thus says the Lord. You're talking to me because I've been popping out and showing them. Sometimes that's a good thing, but not sometimes that's not always a good thing. Cause I need to hear this, my brother. Lord, y'all making me work. Y'all making me work. So whatever unforgiveness y'all got, pray on it and continue to pray on it until God. And it's not like God don't hear you. God hear you praying about it. But there's something you can't only just put it all on God. There's a work that you have to do too. You have to be willing. You have to be willing, and you have to be open. So I'm just gonna keep on talking about it till one day, y'all, until I get this all where I could be able to bring people up, and that should be soon. That should be soon. And y'all gonna give me that testimony about, well, Auntie, you had talked about it so much, I had to just pray about that thing, and then God just opened up the windows of heaven. God been doing this for me, and God been doing for me. And even though He's been doing this, and He been doing, there's so much more that He wants to do, but you're not allowing Him to do because you have that unforgiveness. And if you can't forgive a person, I want you to think back, or even go back and watch the Passion of Christ. Watch the Passion of Christ, and how God gave His only begotten Son for you. And you don't want to forgive nobody. And every time you open your mouth and say something and do something that is contrary to the word of God, oh God, forgive me. Oh God, forgive me. And God forgiving you. And I said, God forgiving me with my old trifling, unforgiving, mean self. And I cannot forgive somebody else. Who am I? Because I did not put the stars in the sky. I didn't put the moon, the sun. I didn't do that. I didn't speak not one word about let it be nothing. And it was. So who am I to hold my for me not to forgive somebody? And who am I to know that I've wronged somebody and not go and ask these people or this person to forgive me for what I said or what I did? Who am I? Check yourself. Check yourself. Check yourself. And then when you check yourself, you're going to be embarrassed. And then you're going to be angry because I should have did this a long time ago. And I guarantee you, when you let go of that unforgiveness, and then when you go and ask somebody to forgive you, watch and see how the window of heaven is just going to pour you out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive. You don't have room enough to receive. So I'm going to be waiting for those testimonies. I'm gonna wait for them testimonies, and because I know they coming. I like to give things a time limit. So I said I'm gonna wait until June 1st, but in between that time, things are gonna be happening. God gonna be working on you. God gonna be dealing with you. God gonna be tenderizing you. Because I'm gonna be praying for you. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna be praying anyway. Forgiving Friday, okay? All right. Somebody gonna tell me that, I just had to go and tell this person. Ask them to forgive me. And I had to forgive this person for what they did and what they said. So I'm awaiting the shout. I am awaiting the shout. So y'all got things to do. I got things to do too. So when you see me, you holler at me. If you got some good news you want to share, DM me so we can celebrate together. Cause I like to celebrate when something good happens to people. Because if it's something good happened to you, just like AK said, we need to hear some good news. We need to hear the good news. And as AKA always said, put it down there so I say it right. Smile. Put that down there so I can say it right. On purpose. Smile just because you woke up this morning. Smile because you got a couple of dollars in the bank. Smile because all the bills paid, caught up and they paid. You might be ain't got but 5 pennies to rub together to make a whole nickel. But thank God for grace and mercy. Make it a great day no matter what and smile. You have a beautiful smile. I love you to life and ain't nothing you could do about it. So in the meantime, in between time, holler at me and I'll holler back. Deuces, peace out, and I'll talk to you when we talk again. Holla! And then y'all can holler.